Brito 0 for 1. Flied out to right field in his first at-bat. Ambrose delivers. Brito sends it into the 5-6 hole over there on the left side of the infield. Now you've got 2 runners on for second baseman Nick Martin.
Now batting for the Renegades, second baseman Nick Martin.
Martin got a single on a bunt in the first inning, advanced over to second base on a throwing error, and that led to a lot of activity at the plate and on the bases, which allowed him to score on a walk induced by Santiago Blanco. So Ambrose checks over at Spain Howard, delivers. Ball fouled off into Haley Street. Another $11 is going to find its way over to the bike path.
$11.
$11.
Each ball.
Each ball. Prices are up. Not sure if you noticed, we've got a lot of things happening in our global economy that's causing that to go up. But we didn't tune in for the global economics talk here. We came here for baseball. Well, we've got an 0-2 count here to Nick Martin. Maybe off air. We'll talk.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it's all connected.
Right.
That's
yeah.
the unfortunate
to
part.
the point where we got to talk about $11
It's all
baseballs.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Ambrose delivers a breaking pitch. It's going to be sent to center field. Ball is caught out there in center field. Looked like for a little bit there that Jackson Bernard was going to overrun that, but the athletic center fielder was able to jump up and grab that. But now again, you got the most dangerous hitter in all of the state of California when it comes to junior college baseball, and that's Landon McDonald. McDonald flied out to right in his first at-bat and advanced Nick Martin. So here we go. The freshman at a Frontier sends a hard shot over to the shortstop, but it is corralled by Gustav Everly, who flips it over to second for the third out of the inning. So they avoid potential damage there by Landon McDonald. And we're going ahead to the third inning. Renegades leading 1-0. Welcome back to live coverage of Bakersfield College Baseball here at Jerry Collis Field. 1-0 lead in the top of the third inning. Got Gustav Everly leading off for West LA. Takes ball high, 1-0. Everly was able to come up with that nice snag, a hard shot by Landon McDonald to end the second inning. Everly batting .276, fouls second pitch off, evens the count 1-1. Everly, another one of those guys that's from Los Angeles. We've at least got a pinpoint to where he's from, not just California. 1-1 pitch taken down, breaking pitch.
You know, and of course, Los Angeles is a big city. I mean, I think they have, 10 million people living in that small space.
2-1 pitch from Berumen, down low, does not catch the top part of that knee. And I'll tell you what, that's one of those pitches right there where if it was in the major leagues, they'd be tapping their helmet maybe to review that. Have you seen the new ABS system that they have, Julian?
Yes.
Yeah, 3-1 count. Outside corner for strike 2, loads up the count. Yeah, I've seen that, and I'll tell you what, me being the Dodger fan, I've already watched the 2 games. Dodgers are 3 for 3 on those challenges so far this year.
Wow.
Haven't lost one yet. Berumen, full count, fouls off the pitch. So we'll do it again. So Berumen with full count, nobody out. Ball grounded over to Nick Martin, who snags it really nicely to retire Everly. 1 out. Now we're going to return to the top of the lineup. Jackson Bernard going to be striding to the plate. Bernard 0 for 1. Struck out swinging in the first inning. Takes ball low. 1-0. One-0 count. Breaking pitch. Does not catch the zone. Brings the count to 2-0. Bernard grounds it over to Blanco, and Blanco comes up with it easy for the second out of the inning. With 2 outs, you got Caleb Romero coming up. Again, Caleb Romero pretty dangerous from the left side part of the plate. Romero looks in, gets the first pitch he sees and drives it into right field for a base hit right in front of Grant Reynolds. So he wasn't going to waste any time. If he's seen that first pitch fastball, he was going to jump right on it. And now you've got the designated hitter, Lucas Hernandez, coming up to the plate. And Hernandez is one of those, he's the guy for West LA, much like Landon McDonald is our guy here at Bakersfield College. Takes ball 1 high and outside. He struck out looking in the first inning. Two outs, top of the third. 1-0 Renegades. Berumen delivers strike 1. Far cry from the amount of runs that we've seen. 54 total runs, if my math is correct. Runner goes, fouled at the plate. So Romero's going to have to come back. 29 total runs in the first game. 28 total runs in the first game. 37 runs in Thursday's game. So we actually do the math. That's 65 runs in 2 games.
You know, and you're not talking about baseball anymore. We're talking about something else.
That's football.
Yeah.
So now you got 2-2 count with 2 outs. Romero looked like he possibly was going to go as Baruman picks back. As soon as he picked back over there, Romero kind of flinched as if he was going to steal. Not necessarily something I would do as a coach on 2-2 count. And he doesn't. And now you get ball fouled and saves a road trip for one of the bench players for the Renegades today. That ball hit the light pole. Normally that goes out into the parking lot. And you get one of these, Julian, when that happens and it goes out in the parking lot. Guys on the bench, it's kind of like their head goes down. Like, here we go. Got to go take a walk again. Deuce is wild. Romero goes. Ball is fouled off. And I'll tell you, Hernandez is really lucky to get a piece of that. He got it right off of the end part of the bat. That bat there kind of looks like a new Gatorade bottle, and you've got that orange tip at the end there. It barely got a piece of that. So we'll do it again. Baruman delivers strike 3 to end the inning. What a great performance so far today. 3 innings for Jacob Baruman. He's only given up 3 hits, but no runs overall. We're going to head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Renegades still with a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the 3rd here at Bakersfield College. Renegades with a 1-0 lead over West LA. Leading off the inning is going to be first baseman Brady Baird. Baird walked in the 1st inning. Ambrose delivers, and that's not going to be a walk. That should be a base hit, and it falls right in front of the right fielder. Caleb Romero out there patrolling the vast outfield that is here at Jerry Collins Field. And now we've got Luke Camps coming up. In between innings, we were talking about music selection. Here we get some in-between inning music being played. So we got Ambrose checking over at Baird. He delivers, ball way outside for ball 1. And one of the songs that was being played was Made in Japan by Buck Owens. That's a song from the 60s. And I said, thanks to TikTok, they use a lot of these songs that live for infinity. As Baird takes off, swing and a miss. So actually, it's fouled off. So Baird's going to have to come back. Second time today that's happened to Baird. He's attempting to steal and we get a foul ball. Getting his cardio in today.
He's getting it in.
So
sure.
Because of all these old songs getting played again, these kids are rediscovering music that are 60 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good for these artists. And like you were saying, the music that was being made back then, there's a lot of great original composition.
Right.
But I read an article, and I'll tell you a little bit about it as we get a 1-1 pitch here. Ball's up. And I was reading an article that was talking about how the quality of music, besides a few artists that still really take their musicianship very seriously, but you don't get a whole lot of iconic sounds like you did back in the day because of how they're paying artists.
Right.
2-1 count. Pickoff attempt over at first. Baird gets back on his belly.
Yeah, you can make a direct correlation on how artists make sounds based on what the pay is going to be.
So, when you get a guy like Buck Owens and his Buckaroos, and there's 9 or 10 different musicians in a studio making that. As Baird takes off, ball outside. Baird is going to get under it. He's going to be safe. So now we're going to have a 3-1 count to Camps. Baird was really moving right there. He gets his second stolen base of the season.
Okay.
Coach is coming out, and he's going to ask if there's any sort of interference. So plate umpire Jose Hernandez is going to go check with Mr. Sykes out there, see if he's seen anything. Looks like there's shaking of heads out there. Usually not a good sign for the coach who's trying to make an appeal. So now Camps is going to climb right back in for a 3-1 count. Ambrose has been able to pitch out of trouble for the most part. He's going to want his catcher to come up and conference with him. But getting back to that musicianship thing, and you being, around a lot of the technical side of producing things, that each and every time somebody is going to come to work and work on a project, everybody's getting paid.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, who's going to be the person that's paying? Well, we've got to make sure that whatever they're producing is going to sell. So you get 9 musicians, you get 5 producers, you get a lot of technical directors and all that stuff. Nowadays, it seems as if you're generating a lot of old generic beats and rhythms and things that are, taken from a lot of old music just to be able to crank out. As Camps drives it into the gap, this is going to score Baird. Camps is going to try to get in a second, and he does for a sliding double RBI for Luke Camps. So whatever Ambrose wanted to talk to his catcher about right there, I guarantee you it wasn't, hey, I'm going to serve this up.
It wasn't
right
that, yeah. It wasn't that, yes.
So maybe gave Camps just a little extra time to be able to figure out what he was going to do. Is now he got Santiago Blanco coming up to the plate. He had an RBI walk in the first inning.
And you got to be careful here. Like I said, neither team wants this game to get away from them.
Nope. Blanco drops a bunt. Ambrose is able to cover, gets the first out of the inning. Automatic situation right there where you got a runner on second, nobody out. Blanco is able to move the runner over. Now you got Jordan Mora coming up. And Jordan Mora, second in the team with RBIs. He's got 23 so far on the season. 11 behind Landon McDonald. And again, want to apologize to anybody watching out there. Oh, it was more of fouls that right off his foot. We've had a few technical difficulties so far today. The one thing I tell you we're not having a difficulty with is this weather. It's amazing today. Low 80s, sun shining. Beautiful day for baseball here at Bakersfield College. We got a 0-1 pitch. So we got Camps leading off. And Mora sends it into right field, right in front of Romero, and that's going to score a run. Mora picks up his 24th RBI of the season, and the Renegades are up 3-0 early in the game. Now you've got Trice Spainhoward stepping to the plate. Trice got on earlier today because of catcher's interference. Mora leading off of first. He's taken off. It was a hit and run, and Mora's going to have to, he's going to stand around. That was going to drop. That got into the wind just a little bit. As you can tell, for those of you guys who are watching, you see the wind blowing. You see the flags out in right center field. It's kind of blowing from left field to right field. So that ball got caught up in the wind, and it fell right in front of Luis Camacho, who was already playing deep and into the gap. So the single from Spainhoward allows Moore to get over to second. You got Grant Reynolds coming up. Reynolds struck out looking in the second inning. And Reynolds fouls it off, and I'll tell you what, that ball had eyes. Somehow was able to sneak around the netting over on the right side of the backstop. 0-1 count. Ambrose, breaking pitch, strike two to Reynolds. And again, Reynolds is trying to do something productive here. And normally you say, okay, well, you don't want to strike out in this situation, but the strikeout isn't the worst thing he could be doing right in this situation. The worst thing he could do is hit the ball on the ground and induce a double play. So anything but a ground ball in this situation is you get a pickoff attempt. No throw. Moore is able to get back. So Reynolds just going to be able to try to put something in the outfield. Swing and a miss. Strike three, a second strikeout for Reynolds. But again, not necessarily a terrible at-bat right there, because it now flips the lineup over to Jordan Brito. Brito 1 for 2. Got a single last inning. We'll strand it out on the bases. Renegades up 3-0 as we see the Renegades softball team finish their first game of the day. They're going to have another game at 5 o'clock. Brito fouls it up. He's going to have plenty of room here for the first baseman, and he's able to put it away. Peyton Grau puts it away, but the Renegades get a couple of runs in that inning, extending the lead to 3-0. So we're going to head to the fourth inning. We'll be right back after a short break. Leading off the fourth inning for West LA, first baseman Peyton Grau. Grau, the cleanup hitter, 0 for 1 today. Struck out in the first inning, looking. So he looks at another strike here. Ended whatever threat that they had in that first inning with a runner on. Growl, 0-1. Baruman delivers. Breaking pitch outside part of the plate. He disagrees with it. He's going to step out. But that clock remains to go. Now we got timeout called by Growl. So it's going to reset the clock. Baruman, 0-2 pitch, working very, very economically. Ball one in the dirt. Baruman with his 45th pitch coming up. Winds and delivers. Ball hit on the ground over to Nick Martin, who throws it over to Brady Baird to retire the first batter of the inning. And I'll tell you what, Baruman is cruising. 45 total pitches, 27 for strikes. Only giving up 3 hits. As you look up there, there's a nice big goose egg under the runs column for West LA. It's pretty impressive after considering West LA has put up 32 runs over the last 2 games. Baruman delivers way outside for ball 1. He's got Luis Camacho coming up. Camacho, again, dangerous, batting .438 so far this season. Gets a swing and a miss. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Camacho with 4 RBI. He's a new addition to the lineup, only has 16 at-bats. He grounds it over to Mora. Mora is able to come up with it, fielding it to his left, and gets out number 2 of the 4th inning. And I'll tell you what, Jacob Baruman is cruising. His coaches over at Highland, Mike Garza and Coach Hovan, his pitching coach, are probably really proud watching. I don't know if they're here. I didn't get a chance to peek down there, or if they're tuning in. I know Highland is playing in a tournament up in Fresno on Monday and Tuesday.
You know, a lot of high school baseball on Saturdays, I guess, huh?
There's not, at this part of the season, no, especially with spring break coming up. So we get foul ball off into the parking lot, 0-1 pitch, or 0-1 count to Lucas Salcido. Yeah, in this part of the season, we do have some Saturday going on. There is tournaments. I know Wasco High is hosting a tournament today. 0-1 pitch is driven out into right field. Reynolds is going to have to cut this one off, and he does. I'll tell you what, Reynolds has done a really good job out there in right field to be able to cut off baseballs and limit West LA to singles. But again, I argue that in this situation, West LA has got to be able to leg out doubles in that. So, again, this is an indication. Speaking of indications, I'll talk to you about Duran Jones and the indications we were just talking about in the break. But that's an indication of a 6-21 team right there.
Right.
So you got Jarrell Hightower coming up to the plate. Hightower sent a pitch into right field. He was the one that I thought should have legged out a double in the 2nd inning.
You know, and again, it's not even about, okay, I got a double. It's about scoring position.
Right, absolutely. With 2 outs, you got to move. Hightower, 1-0 pitch, brings the count to 2-0. I'll tell you, the good thing about Baruman so far today, he hasn't really fallen behind in many counts. Not too often have we had a 2-0 count. No walks so far today. Has 4 strikeouts. Delivers. Ball in the outside corner, strike 1. 2-1 count. 51 pitches. If he gets this, keeps it under 55 pitches through 4 innings, it's really good. Strike 2. 2-2 count with 2 outs. And again, considering that runner on first did not leg out that double, probably not a threat to steal, and he wasn't, as Hightower shoots it just past Mora's reach. And I tell you, you don't really want to criticize your fielders if you're a pitcher, and right now you're leading 3-0. But in that situation right there, you get a ground ball. You'd hope that Jordan Moore would be able to at least maybe lay out, try to get a glove on the ball. But he doesn't, so.
It would have been a tough. If he'd have laid out, it would have been tough. He'd have to pop up and.
Now you got a ball sent out in the center field. Burrito's going to have a run. He's chasing it, and he was able to flag it down for out number 3.
No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Through 3.5. Renegades 3. West LA, nothing.
So that's going to end the top of the 4th inning. Renegades scatter a couple of hits in that inning, but no runs. We're going to head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Renegades up 3-0. Bottom of the 4th inning, leading off for the Renegades, second baseman Nick Martin. Renegades with a 3-0 lead. Martin 1 for 2 today, and he's going to have his second hit of the game, possibly, but no, if it ends up getting flagged down right there by Luis Camacho. Camacho looked like he was having a little bit of a tough time there with the sun. And one of the things that I know, at least my gripe would always be as a coach, you get a guy out there in left field staring at the sun. Look what's on his adjustable cap.
His glasses.
Sunglasses.
Why are they on your hat?
So here we go. Landon McDonald stepping to the plate. Landon 0 for 2 so far today, which means he's due. Big swing and a miss. He knows he missed that one. Ball's on the outside part of the plate. 0-1.
Well, we can't expect him not to be aggressive. He's going to be aggressive at that plate every time he steps in that box.
100%. All these outfielders playing deep. McDonald, 0-1 count. Sees ball 1 in the other batter's box. Again, you can tell when a pitcher is really trying to pitch around a guy. Ambrose is actually going right at him. He's thrown a lot of competitive pitches so far to McDonald. Ambrose finally gets the pitch he wants. McDonald swings and misses, and that's a breaking pitch on the inside part of the plate. And he was a little frustrated with himself right there because probably not a strike if he takes that. So Ambrose with a 1-2 pitch. Winds and delivers. Ball on the outside part of the plate just missed. A little off-speed pitch right there. Evens the count at 2 apiece. We got 1 out, even though the scoreboard says we have 0. Ambrose delivers. Called strike 3. And I'll tell you, Landon McDonald, he's a big decoy in that lineup, but he has not been able to help himself in improving his stats so far this year.
Well, going down looking is definitely not in his mantra, so.
No. But here comes Brady Baird. Baird, 1 for 1, got himself a base hit. a couple of innings ago. Also had a walk. Baird takes strike one on the inside part of the plate. Little breaking pitch that caught that corner. So Ambrose working pretty quickly. Delivers and hits Baird right in the back. And just like I told you, Renegades don't let 3 inches of baseball move you. He took that right one right in the 5. So with 2 outs, we got a base runner out there for Luke Camps. Camps had himself an RBI earlier today. Of course, technology always there when you don't need it, when you really do need it. I think it's probably because my screen is hot. Brady Baird is able to steal his second base of the game so far today. So puts the runner in scoring position with a 1-0 count as it was a ball at the plate. Ambrose delivers, ball 2. And in this situation where you have Luke Camps, who already has an RBI base hit today, with a base open over there, may not necessarily be giving him a good pitch to hit, especially with 2 outs and Santiago Blanco coming up to the plate. Again, ball outside, brings count to 3-0. And just like that, probably not an intentional walk, but possibly an unintentional intentional walk. So Ambrose on 3-0. Ball up. And Camps is going to get a free pass over to first base, bringing up the shortstop, Santiago Blanco.
Now batting shortstop, Santiago Blanco.
Blanco again with an RBI walk in the first inning to get the Renegades on the board. Now's an opportunity to drive in another run here to extend the lead. It is 3-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Renegades leading West LA. Ambrose delivers breaking pitch. Blocked at the plate. So 1-0 count, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Ambrose briefly checks over to second, delivers a pitch on the inside part of the plate called strike 1. Ambrose checks, now delivers. Ball fouled off at the plate, brings the count 1-2. And again, this is kind of the reason why I was saying that you didn't necessarily want to have a whole lot of competitive pitches there to Luke Camps. Now you get Blanco up to the plate, but Blanco's looking to bust through that strategy, get himself a base hit. Ambrose delivers on 1-2 if ball is fouled off. Yeah, usually in that situation, Julian, when you're on deck as a player and you see that you get kind of like an unintentional, intentional walk in front of you, you're like, okay, you want to see me? Let's go.
You better be thinking that way.
Exactly. If you're a competitor, if you're Santiago Blanco, and I know he's a competitor, he wants this opportunity right here. After the foul ball, we've got another 1-2 count with 2 outs. Camps leading off first, nobody holding him on. Baird, after that stolen base, was over at second. Nobody really holding him. Ambrose delivers We got a strike 3 at the plate, and
For Bakersfield,
that'll end the inning.
No runs, no hits.
No runs, no hits. A couple of left.
Renegades 3.
We're going to head to the 5th inning. Renegades with a 3-0 lead over West LA. We'll be right back.
Shortstop, Gustav Everly.
Top of the 5th here at Jerry Collins Field. Renegades with a 3-0 lead over West LA. You got shortstop Gustav Everly stepping to the plate for West LA. Everly 0 for 1 so far today. Made a nice play on Landon McDonald's second at bat. Let's get ball up 2-0. Baruman, again, has been pretty efficient so far today as he delivers strike 1 on the outside part of the plate, 2-1. Excuse me. Yeah, 2-1. Got to look at the auxiliary scoreboard. That one's a little bit more clear as we get Baruman delivers 2-1. Martin up the middle, backhand, sends it over to Baird for out number 1. Great play over there by Nick Martin. And now we're going to return to the top of the lineup.
Now batting center fielder, Jackson Bernard.
Jackson Bernard now stepping to the plate. Bernard 0 for 2. Baruman rocks, delivers. Ball on the outside part of the plate, just missed. Second pitch is fouled off. Now we've got a 1-1 count. Baruman had 55 pitches through the 4th inning. Now just a tick over 60 here in the 5th. He delivers a 1-1 pitch down in the dirt. Brings count to 2-1. Once he gets through this inning, if he gets a couple more outs, he's going to qualify for the win. Now you got a ball shot into the right field corner, and this is going to be extra bases here. Reynolds is going to come up with it. And I'll tell you, now you got a stand-up double, or stand-up triple, by Jackson Bernard, their first extra base hit of the game. That's the type of hustle that you're wanting to see out of your players.
That's what you were talking about exactly.
So Baruman gives up his first extra base hit of the game, puts a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And now you've got Caleb Romero stepping to the plate. Right fielder Romero, 2 for 2 so far today. So another one of those situations where you can be competitive against a guy like Romero as we get strike one at the plate, 0-1. But you don't want to give him an easy RBI opportunity right here. So you're trying to throw all your best pitches right here. As Baruman delivers. You're going to check to see if he offered. He did not. 1-1 count with 1 out. Outfielders playing off the line, trying to protect the gaps here. Baruman delivers on 1-1. Ball's fouled off over near the batting cages. Brings the count to 1-2. And Baruman doing a really good job of getting right to Romero. Romero's ambushed him a couple of different times so far today. He hasn't seen too many pitches before this at-bat. So now on a 1-2 count with 1 out, Baruman delivers. Ball inside, way inside, and it hits him. So now you got a speedy runner over at first, a speedy runner over at third. Now you've got a first and third scenario here.
Now batting, designated hitter.
With Lucas Hernandez stepping to the plate. Most dangerous bat in the lineup for West LA. Hernandez 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts so far today. So Baruman's done a really good job with a guy that's in the top 10 as far as the southern region of 3C2A in overall OPS. Runner goes. Ball's hit on the ground. Not fielded cleanly by Martin, and that'll be an error and an RBI for Hernandez. Probably wasn't going to be a double play as Romero was taken off on the pitch. But now instead of having 2 outs, you got 1 out with 2 runners on. Not an envious position to be in here if you're Jacob Baruman, who finally gets scathed a little bit. Now Peyton Grau steps to the plate. First baseman 0 for 2 so far today. Baruman delivers. Ball in the dirt, gets away. Spainhauer throws down to third. But Romero is able to slide in there, and it looks like Romero may have got some dirt in his eye. We got timeout. And typically you'll see the runner of our first, if this runner over at second takes off, he's going to take off. That kind of just shows me that Lucas Hernandez might not have the wheels or the will to take second in that play.
Yeah, his attention was completely on third base when he picked up that ball. So, yeah, you had a free run to second.
Again, Hernandez leading off first, Romero leading off a third. 1-0 count to Grau. Pitch is delivered outside. Strike one. Grau hasn't been real happy with home plate umpire Jose Hernandez's call on the outside part of the plate so far today. Second time he's taking a little bit of extra time to lament. Ball again on the outside part of the plate, but this time it's ball 2. Three to run Renegades. Top of the 5th. Baruman delivers. Outside, but low. So now you got a 3-1 count to Grau. And if the bases are loaded, I would not doubt if you see one of these Renegades pitchers in the bullpen start getting warmed up, and there is the walk, loads up the bases. For Luis Camacho, the left fielder.
Luis Camacho.
And it looks like we do have a pitcher that's starting to get a little loose down there. Baruman so far today has done a really good job. Been pretty efficient. But it's usually at this stage of the game where you're right around 70 pitches that you're kind of feeling it a little bit. Don't have the stuff that you had in the first inning. So first visit to the mound for Bakersfield College. Now Camacho coming to the plate. Camacho 0 for 2 with a strikeout so far today. Ball on the outside part of the plate for ball 1. Again, Luis Camacho only coming into the game with 16 at-bats so far this season, but he's got 7 hits. Ball line right to Brady Baird, who's able to step on first base for a double play. I'll tell you what, that is bad luck right there for Luis Camacho. Typically, that right there is a double down the line, probably scoring all 3 runs, but it ends up right into the glove of Brady Baird to end the threat. West LA only able to pick up a run in that inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 3-1 Renegades. So we've got audio now on our coverage here of Renegades baseball. We're on the bottom of the 5th.
Fans, once again, marches national
Looks like we've got Coach Townsend, who has called time, call all of his guys in for a conference. This is a little unusual. You usually don't see the head coach coming out and having this kind of conference, but this is an important part of the game. Renegades with a 3-1 lead. To start off the inning, Jordan Morrow banged a single into right field, and right after that, Tri Spainhoward gets picked up another hit so far today for the Renegades, and with 2 on and nobody out, Reynolds comes up in a for sure bunt situation. Took ball 1. Pickoff attempt of Mora was unsuccessful, as the second baseman might have had a chance of tagging him out, but dropped the baseball. Kind of catches you up with the 5th inning. Ambrose still on the mound for West LA. Reynolds showing early, and now Mora is going to get picked off. And right after
the meeting,
right after that conference, Mora gets picked off. And here's the thing. In this situation, Mora is being told that your run means a whole lot.
Right.
Do yourself a favor. Make sure you're getting smart over there, because they want to pick you off and end this little threat right over here. So now Reynolds is up there, not necessarily in a bunt situation, but I tell you, I do not envy Jordan Morrow right now walking in that dugout.
No. I don't know what could Townsend be saying. What did I just say to you? I mean,
that's the nice way of saying it.
Yeah, that'd be a nice way.
I can't say on air what some coaches might say in that situation. I'm not going to put Coach Towney out there and say that he's saying anything in particular. But I can tell you what a lot of coaches in my day would be saying to a runner right there. You got a 1-1 count after that swing and a miss from Reynolds. Spainhoward leads off of first. Reynolds fouls it off. It looked like it was coming this way. We got a 1-2 count. But again, I said that was a real important part of the game right here, where you get a couple of runners in scoring position, flip this lineup back over to Jordan Brito and company to extend this lead, because West LA is showing you they're not going anywhere. Ambrose delivers ball 2.
You know, keep in mind too, they're coming off these games where they've scored all these runs.
Yeah.
And so I would stop them halfway too and say, look, guys, remember what we did. Here we are again.
Yeah, 34 runs in the previous 18 innings that they played. That ball is going to hit Reynolds, and I'll tell you, see, now in that situation, you're really frustrated if you're the coach. And Jordan Mora should also be frustrated, because he's thinking, now I could be over at third. We get a bases loaded with nobody out in the top of our lineup coming up. But again, we'll move on from this, because this is what teammates are supposed to do. They're supposed to be able to pick up each other. So now we're going to see how Brito handles this. Brito 1 for 3 so far today. Spainhoward leading off a second. Gets a couple of looks from Ambrose, and he delivers ball 1. Brito again coming into the game, batting .330, has 18 RBI. On-base percentage of .444 is plenty good for a leadoff hitter. 1-0 count. Brito calls time. Brito out of Ridgeview High. Ambrose looks over at Spainhoward, delivers. Brito sends the ball deep into left center field. And it's going to be flagged down by Bernard. And Spainhoward is going to have to retreat. So with 2 outs, now you've got Nick Martin stepping to the plate.
Second baseman, Nick Martin.
Martin 1 for 3 also today. Got that bunt single in the first inning and scored the first run of the game. Again, Martin trying to do a job of picking up his teammates, scoring a run here with Big Landon McDonald looming in that on-deck circle. Martin shows bunt, takes strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. And you got to hand it to Ambrose. This is a real potent lineup also for the Renegades. Renegades have scored 33 runs so far in this series. You add the 3, and now they've scored 36. Ambrose delivers, ball outside. Kind of changed that 3-quarter slot for a two-seam fastball that ran out. 1-1 with 2 outs. Ambrose checks over, delivers, ball fouled over to the right side. So now you got a 1-2 count with 2 outs. Renegades looking to extend this lead. Ambrose doing everything he can to keep it within reach. Ambrose checks over at Spainhauer. Now he delivers. Martin squirts it over to the shortstop, and that's going to be an infield base hit right there. Everly was able to track it down so it wouldn't hit the grass. And I'll tell you, Ambrose has done a very admirable job so far today against the most dangerous hitter in the state of California, Landon McDonald. But this is not someplace you want to be right now if you're on the mound. Leader in home runs, slugging, OPS in all the state of California. Landon McDonald also with 34 RBI today.
Yeah, the pitcher's probably sitting there saying, this guy.
Yeah, right, exactly. How many times are you going to ask me to get this guy out today?
Geez.
He's already gotten him out a few times today. So we'll see how it goes. Landon McDonald lines it into left field. This is going to score a couple of runs. McDonald's going to end up with a stand-up double, 2 RBI, and extends the lead to 5-1. And it was only a matter of time before Landon McDonald busts out.
Interference.
And now we've got interference, so that's not going to count as an RBI. But it looked like somebody ran into a player, and field umpire James Sykes awards home plate to Nick Martin. So now it is 6-1 as the bases were cleared. Again, a couple of RBIs for Landon McDonald. He has 36, and slugging percentage goes up again as he gets that double. Now you got Brady Baird 7 on the plate. Baird 1 for 1 today, has a walk. Also a run scored. Baird, fantastic first game of the season. Got a little cold for the next half a dozen games and is able to return to form. So they got a 2-0 count now. And again, Ambrose had done a pretty admirable job through the first 4 innings of the game against a real potent lineup for the Renegades. But if you notice, Landon McDonald really kind of more so wanting to go over there and trying to hit the top side of the ball in that situation. And not necessarily try to elevate. He's just trying to get some RBIs, and he did. It's a great piece of hitting. Now Baird fouls it off. Again, saves another road trip as the ball hits the light tower here.
You couldn't do that if you tried.
No. Although, I do got to say, in my years as a coach, I was pretty good with a fungo. And a fungo is that small, skinny bat that the coaches use to hit ground balls and fly balls to these defenders. So we got a 2-1 count now to Baird. Ambrose delivers ball outside for ball number 3. And again, to Brady Baird, pretty dangerous count. Baird has never seen a 3-1 count he doesn't like. And I can tell you that because I've been watching this kid since he was about 9 years old, playing for the old Roughnecks. Ball catches the inside part of the plate on a breaking pitch. So now you got a 3-1 count. Or excuse me, 3-2.
3-2, yeah.
McDonald leads off second. Baird fouls off another breaking pitch. Baird was a part of a little club program here in Bakersfield called the Kern County Roughnecks. His older brother played as well for his dad, Clint. Ball called, strike 3 on the outside part of the plate. Baird didn't agree with it, but either way, Renegades get 3 runs in the bottom part of the 5th inning. We're going to head to the 6th. Renegades leading West LA 6-1. We're going to take a quick timeout. Be right back. Top of the 6th inning here at Jerry Collis Field. 6-1 Renegades with the lead. Ball's fouled off. First delivery to Lucas Salcido. Salcido is going to line second pitch he sees right to Jordan Brito for a leadoff base hit here in the 6th. And now you've got number 5, Jarrell Hightower, stepping to the plate.
Jarrell Hightower.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Anytime I think about the last name Hightower, I think back to the fantastic film series of the 1980s, Police Academy. I remember old Bubba Smith.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Bubba Smith was
People still watch it.
Sergeant Hightower. Oh, yeah. Ball 1 on the first delivery on a 1-0 count. Baruman now brings the count to 2-0. Got some activity out there in the bullpen for the Renegades. As Baruman's inching ever so closely to 90 pitches so far today as he gets Hightower to swing and miss. Yeah, Bubba Smith, I don't believe he's still with us.
No.
But he was a fantastic football player for the San Francisco 49ers back in his day.
Well, that wasn't his first team.
Yeah. No, he do a lot of appearances for the 49ers in the DeBartolo family back in the day. So after that foul ball from Hightower, evens the count at 2 apiece. Salcido leading off at first after his leadoff hit. Baruman delivers strike 3, swung and missed by Hightower for the first out of the inning.
Now batting Second baseman, Josiah Figueroa.
So now Josiah Figueroa steps to the plate, 0 for 2 so far today. It's good that we've got Major League Baseball back. Since we've been off air, we've had a whole World Baseball Classic, which was fantastic, very competitive.
Well, I hate to say this, but we got Major League Baseball back, but I'm going to be honest, it doesn't seem like it ever left. I mean, we finished that World Series.
That epic World Series.
Yes.
So we got foul ball for Figueroa, 0-1 count. Yeah, you said it. Just is now Figueroa sends it into right field. Reynolds camps under it for out number 2. Yeah, it just seemed like yesterday we're rushing off of the Dameron deck calling football, and I go right to my living room to watch the Dodgers finish it out. And it seems like we tripped and fell into February, and here comes the WBC.
Here it comes.
Which was again, congratulations to Team Venezuela. A lot of passion overall from a lot of those teams.
Some great baseball players.
Well, looks like we've got dead ball, and it got a piece of the bat. So we got a foul ball. So now manager for West LA, a little frustrated. He's thinking, okay, there's all that body, all those hands, and it hit the littlest part of the bat, right on the right on the knob of the bat.
But I didn't see anything in there that's worthy of a conference. I don't know what he saw.
He's probably like, hey, man, you got to sell it next time. That's usually what happens in that situation. Like, man, you got to come up and act like that thing hits you. But the one thing's for sure you heard a little ping. If it's a wood bat, it makes a little bit of a different sound.
I mean, I'm not going to tell him his job. He just stopped the game to say something.
0-1 count with 2 outs. Baruman trying to get through 6 frames against this dangerous West LA offense. Ball in the dirt. Evens the count at 1 apiece. So Baruman with pitch number 79 coming up. And here it is, called strike 2. You got a 1-2 count with 2 outs. And in this situation where you are in the lineup, would not doubt if Salcido may go on this pitch. He doesn't. Breaking pitch, sent over to third base, and Jordan Mora comes up with it, slings it across the field for out number 3. And I tell you what, Jacob Baruman has been impressive so far today. Landon McDonald comes out and congratulates him on getting through 6 innings, only giving up 1 run so far. As we head to the 6th inning. Bottom of the 6th inning. Renegades with a 6-1 lead. We'll be right back.
2.
Bottom of the 6th, Renegades with a 6-1 lead over West LA. Still got Adrian Ambrose out there pitching for West LA. He delivers strike 1 on a breaking pitch. Finally got some activity in the West LA bullpen. Got a quick story about West LA. You know, I only had an opportunity to play them in one series of a redshirt freshman year here. One of the only guys I ever got to buckle in the college level on a breaking pitch. He got a big hit for Luke Camps out in the left field. This is out of here. No doubt about it. Luke Camps was able to get under it. Camps is his 3rd home run of the season. He got that fastball, and he did not waste that opportunity. He's now 2nd on the team with 3 home runs, only 10 behind Landon McDonald.
Only 10?
Only 10. Only 10. You can pick that up a couple of months.
Not much, yeah.
Yeah. Brings the score to 7-1. Now shortstop Santiago Blanco stepping to the plate. But yeah, I had an opportunity to throw against West LA, and it was one of those games where Coach Peyton gave me the opportunity to throw from a 3/4 slot. Got a guy to buckle. Called strike 3. Here we go. Blanco fouls it off to the right side. Lands on top of the roof and comes down. Saves $11. 1-1 count to Blanco. A lot of good high school baseball, though, being played so far in Bakersfield, as we got swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. Brings the count to 1-2. A lot of great programs here, and they're all going to be playing in various tournaments around the state over this next holiday week. Called strike 3 on the outside corner to Blanco. 2nd strikeout of the game for Blanco. Now you got Jordan Mora coming up.
Now batting, 3rd baseman, Jordan Mora.
Last Friday had a high school game played here. Ridgeview against Centennial. It's a good little matchup. Centennial ended up winning a close game there. Mora sits on a pitch, sends it out into right field. It's going to be a tough play here for Caleb Romero. He's able to get it on the line for out number 2. And now here comes Trice Spainhoward.
Catcher, Trice Spainhoward.
Spainhoward having a good day today, 2 for 2 so far as a run scored. Catcher out of Liberty High. Spainhoward sends it over to left field. Salcido camps under it, and he's going to put it away for out number 3. Pretty good inning right there for Ambrose, besides that 400-foot bomb that was hit by Luke Camps out over the flags out in right center field. So after a run and a hit, nobody left, we're going to head to the top of the 7th inning. Looks like Jacob Beruman's going to head back out there as well for inning number 7. 7-1, Renegades. We'll be right back. Top of the 7th here at Jerry Carlos Field. 7-1 lead for the Renegades. Top of the lineup coming up for West LA, Jackson Bernard. Bernard 1 for 3 so far today. Scored the only run after he hit a triple to right field off of Broom. And only extra base hit he's given up so far today. It's ball 2, 2-0. Again, still have some activity out there in the bullpen. Baruman probably going to be given a little bit of a leash through this inning. Try to get 3 outs here. That is pitch number 83. 3-0 count. Bernard looks at strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. Bernard came into the game batting .379. Second in runs on the team with 23. Ball's outside. He gets a free pass here, so second time on base for the speedy Jackson Bernard.
Now batting right fielder, Caleb Romero.
And now you got Caleb Romero, who's 2 for 2 today. One of 3 West LA players with multiple hits today, but I'll tell you, Baruman done a fantastic job of scattering these hits. The ball on the outside part of the plate, ball 1. So again, 86 pitches so far for Baruman. Probably not going to have too much longer here if he continues to deliver base hits like that. Reynolds comes up with it. So after a walk and a base hit, now you've got the very dangerous Lucas Hernandez coming to the plate. Baruman, again, pitching with the lead. No such thing as a 6-run home run.
Okay.
But definitely still want to stay out of the danger zones with Lucas Hernandez. He's got some pop. 5 doubles and a triple so far this season for him. And he sends that into the net, saving another $11.
You going to say that every time?
I'm going to say it every time. You know why? Because we're in the state of California, and these are our tax dollars at work. We are benefactors here. 0-1 count from Baruman. Breaking pitch, sent down the line, foul. So we're going to have an 0-2 count. So you got to hand it to both of these pitchers here today. Lucas Hernandez is without a hit. Does have an RBI. But they have handled the number 3 hitters in both of these lineups pretty well today. As Hernandez lines it over to Baird, he's able to smother it, step on first for the first out of the inning, but both runners advance. So productive out for Hernandez. And now you've got Peyton Grau coming up to the plate. Grau 0 for 2, has a walk. Couple of runners in scoring position and with a base open. Probably going to be a lot of pitches that are on the outside part of the zone. Let's get ball on the inside part of the plate. 89 pitches so far for Baruman, but on a warm day, we're halfway into the season. Baruman's pretty stretched out. Could probably go to 100 plus. As you get the ball lined into left field for a base hit and an RBI for Peyton Grau, who picks up his first hit of the game, bringing the score to 7-2. Second run scored for Jackson Bernard.
Now batting for the Wildcats, left fielder Luis Camacho.
Now you got Luis Camacho, and I think that's going to be it for Jacob Berumen. And yep, Coach Townsend is going to bring in the reliever. There's going to be some round of applause here for Jacob Berumen, who did a fantastic job today, scattering 9 hits, only giving up 2. The book is not closed yet, as he still has a runner out there for West LA. And as predicted, Berumen getting a big round of applause. Hero's greeting from his dugout as he's set up for a win here. If the Renegades are able to hold on, Tony Fabian's going to be coming in to relieve for the Renegades. We're going to take a quick timeout while he gets ready. We'll be right back. Back here at Jerry Collis Field at the top of the 7th inning, Renegades with a 7-2 lead. Tony Fabian coming in to relieve for the Renegades. And we've got Luis Camacho, left fielder for West LA, with runner on first and third. 0-1 count for the freshman out of Broomfield, Colorado, Tony Fabian. Fabian delivers. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. Brings the count to 0-2. Fabian sets, delivers. Ground ball, foul. We'll do the 0-2 pitch again. So Berumen overall pitched 6 1/3, gave up 9 hits, a couple of earned runs, walked 2, struck out 5. And he leaves a winner. Fabian checks both runners, delivers, ball in the dirt. 1-2 count. Tried that little breaking pitch again. Try to see if Camacho was going to chase, and he didn't. Spanhauer with a good block with a runner on third. Fabian delivers. Ball on the inside part of the plate called. Strike 3. Camacho not in agreement with that. So Fabian comes in and gets the second out of the inning.
Lucas Salcedo.
Now catcher Lucas Salcedo is going to come up to the plate. Salcedo 2 for 3 today. The Renegades being given fits by the catcher. Fabian delivers, check swing. He went around for strike number 1. So Fabian gets his pitch, comes set, checks over to first base. Grau leading off. Ball in the dirt. Spain Howard's able to keep it in front of him. Lost it for a minute and spun around. Finally get it. Good work back there from the freshman catcher. So Grau on first, Romero on third. 2 outs in the top of the 7th. Renegades up 7-2. Fabian delivers. His pitch is sent into left field for a base hit. It's going to score a run. Grau is going to stop at second. Camps sends it into Blanco. So 7-3 now.
Now batting third baseman,
And
Terrell Hightower.
that's going to be the last run charged to Berumen. So finally officially closes the book on Berumen, who gave up 3 runs now. And now you've got Jarrell Hightower. Hightower, 2 for 3 today. Fabian delivers ball in the dirt. 1-0. Fabian checks over a couple of times over at second, delivers ball 2, 2-0. Getting some encouragement from the crowd is Tony Fabian. Letting him know, trust his defense, throw a strike. Now Fabian, 2-0 count, 2 outs. Looks over at Grau. Spain Howard loses it. It's behind him. Both runners are going to advance. He didn't know exactly where it was. So now a 3-0 count with 2 outs, and with a guy like Hightower who's already 2 for 3, I wouldn't necessarily be giving him anything he can hit. And in fact, if I was the head coach, probably put Hightower on to get Isaiah Figueroa to the plate, who's 0 for 3. Fabian sets, delivers. Strike 1. So Hightower looked like he was probably taking 100% on that. Now he's going to climb in. 3-1 count with 2 outs. Both runners in scoring position. Fabian delivers. Called strike 2 on the outside corner, so now he fills it up. So Fabian is really going out there and competing against probably what I would be doing.
Right.
So here we go. The competitor Fabian up there on the mound delivers. Ball 4. So it loads up the bases. But really nobody hurt. And now you've got Josiah Figueroa stepping to the plate.
Josiah Figueroa.
Outfielders for the Renegades coming in just a bit. Renegades with their traditional white pants, but their black tops today. Fabian delivers. Ball high. 1-0 count. Figueroa came in batting .309 so far this year, so he's got the ability to hit. Strike one on the outside part of the plate. Tell you what, if I'm West LA's coach too, and I'm looking for a guy who can get nuclear with his bat, might be looking for number 20, Alex Oppenheimer. Ball hits.
Oh.
And that's not what you want. Ball hits Figueroa. Very uncompetitive pitch right there. So Figueroa is going to get credited for an RBI as Grau comes in to score the 4th run of the game.
Now batting shortstop, Gustav Everly.
So 7-4 now with the bases loaded. Now you're in a situation where the tying run is at first. Go ahead run steps up to the plate. And Fabian trying to get this 3rd out of the inning. First time West LA's put up a crooked number so far in this game is Gustav Everly, the shortstop, fouls it off. Everly batting .276. Has 3 doubles of 18 RBIs as well, too. Bases loaded. 0-1 count, 2 outs. Fabian delivers. Strike 2 on the inside part of the plate. So here comes Fabian. Dangerous pitch right here for both batter and pitcher. We got a runner on 3rd. Spainhauer's going to have to be a wall back there to make sure that there's no wild pitch on a potential breaking pitch in the dirt. Fabian steps off. Seven to 4 Renegades. Fabian gets his pitch. Comes set. Now he delivers. Foul ball into the dugout. That's what they call an ugly finder right there, Julian. But it hit that 4-foot fence that they have right in front that everybody leans on. So another 0-2 count here for Fabian. Trying to get out Gustav Everly, the shortstop for West LA. Fabian delivers. Barely got a piece of that. Stays alive, does Everly. Fabian so far this year, got a win, got a loss. 31 innings pitched. Delivers. Ball in the dirt, and just like I was telling you, potential ball in the dirt with an 0-2 count. Spainhauer is in a real tough position where he's got to block absolutely everything. It's probably going to be credited as a wild pitch right there. A ball skipped in front of the plate. So now it's 7-5. And you just kind of had that feeling that West LA was just kind of laying in the weeds, waiting for an opportunity for the Renegades to let their guard down. They put up 4 in the 7th. And luckily, the Renegades got that crooked number in the 5th inning. Otherwise, West LA would have a lead. Fabian, 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. It ends the inning. But West LA gets 4 runs on 3 hits, leave a couple on. We're going to stretch into the bottom of the 7th inning. Renegades up 7-5. We'll be right back.
6, Liam O'Reilly.
We are in the bottom of the 7th here at Jerry College Field. Renegades nursing a 7-5 lead, and we've got a pinch hitter coming up to the plate, and that is Liam O'Reilly. We were wondering where the big guy was. Sophomore out of Garces Memorial High.
You know, and I saw him earlier before the game, and I just looked at him, I shook his hand, and I said, you know what? You guys are here, great opportunity. Just have a good game.
Absolutely. So O'Reilly's in there to pinch hit for Grant Reynolds. We'll see if he stays in the game as well to play defense. We also have a new pitcher on the mound for West LA. That's Jake Neville. Neville evens the count at 1 apiece after a swing and a miss from O'Reilly. O'Reilly, when he's not selling auto parts, he's batting .270. He's got a home run, 7 doubles. Swing and a miss on a ball inside.
Rob, he's never selling auto parts, okay?
Well, he shouldn't have to. He's got 26 RBIs.
Okay.
1-2 count from Neville. Delivers ball 2. Neville out of Cerritos, California. He delivers the ball in the dirt for ball number 3. Loads up the count. And I was just about to say, he looks like he's probably a guy around my size back when I played here. 5'9", 155 for Jake Neville. Delivers to Liam O'Reilly, who sends a fly ball up in our direction. It's going to land up right behind us. And I'll tell you what, again, one of those things that you couldn't have done if you tried. There is a gap in between the regular bleachers and the handicap access, and it fit right in there. Talk about impossible trajectory right there. It's Liam O'Reilly with another full count. Neville delivers, and another big foul ball, this time sent towards the entrance of the softball field. And again, we're going to be on YouTube for the softball game here at 5 o'clock. They've got Grossmont College at 5 o'clock. Another full count, and that ball was inside, and Liam O'Reilly is going to induce a walk to lead off the 7th inning. And now we've got Jordan Brito stepping to the plate. Leadoff hitter is 1 for 4 today.
Your attention, please. Pitch running at first base for Bakersfield, number 8, Gage Ursery.
So Gage Ursery now pinch running for Liam O'Reilly. So you got to imagine that Gage is probably going to be playing out in the field as O'Reilly goes out there, gets a free 90 and has a seat. It's a pretty easy day right there for Liam O'Reilly.
That's a pretty easy day, yes. And that's okay.
Right. He swung at the ball. He swung at 4 pitches, fouled a couple off, and got a walk. So the speedy Ursery, son of former Renegade player and coach Kyle Ursery. Ball 1 in the dirt to Jordan Brito. Brito, a fan favorite, one of those guys that's wears number 1. They always say number 1 in your program and number 1 in your hearts.
I've never heard that. So,
well, probably because you haven't been paying attention.
That's new.
What, paying attention or that saying? Wow. You always got to be on your toes here. Julian, you know that. 1-0 count, no outs. Brito, pitch from Neville is 2-0. So now is it Neville, or should we say even like Neville, like the Neville brothers from New Orleans?
We need to ask him, but I think both would work.
Right. You know what he'd tell us?
He'd tell us
to tell it like it is. 2-0 pitch. It's 3-0. For those of you guys who get that, another 1960s dated reference there. So 3-0 count to Jordan Brito. Neville trying to get right back into this count. And he does not. Issues another walk. And tell you, if you are the West LA manager, you're thinking, okay, we bring you in, kid. We want you to get some outs. And he does exactly opposite. Issues 2 free passes. And now you've got Nick Martin coming up to the plate. Potential bunt situation here for Martin, who already has a bunt single so far today. Pretty rare when you get the opportunity to have 2 bunt opportunities in one game. Manager for West LA brings in his outfielders. What he thinks is going to be a bunt situation. Both corners are up. Ursery leading off second, gets a look from Neville. Now we're going to get a pickoff attempt from Neville, and he's in. I'm going to recognize a couple of good athletes that were athletes of the week for the Renegades here as Neville delivers. First pitch, ball 1.
You know, and what type of pitch is he throwing?
Well, he's throwing a couple of breaking pitches. That one right there was a fastball that just got away. So 1-0 count. He has not thrown a whole lot of strikes, I can tell you that.
Right.
So Neville delivers. Swing and a miss from Nick Martin. Yeah, we had athletes of the week last week. Jennifer Salinas Cisneros, women's wrestling, delivered a dominant and historic performance for BC, finishing the week with a perfect 5-0 record. She led the Renegades to a dual victory over ELAC before going undefeated at the program's first ever Bakersfield Open. As Neville delivers ball 2, 2-1. She got the first place finish and earned the Outstanding Lower Weight Wrestler honors. Salinas Cisneros was unstoppable on the mat, recording 3 wins by fall and 1 by technical fall. He got a 38-second pin in the finals as Martin lays the bunt down, and that was going to go along the line and finally rolls foul. That was a brilliant bunt right there, but it brings the count to 2-2.
And we almost got to see a perfect bunt if it had just stayed in.
And 2 bunt singles in one game, which, again, you got to think back to guys like Brett Butler, who played for the Giants and Dodgers back in the 80s and 90s. That guy was a bunting maven.
Mm-hmm.
Maury Wills also for the Dodgers way back in the day. So 2-2 count with no outs. Bottom of the 7th. Renegades up 7-5. Ursery leading off second. Martin fouls the ball off into the backstop. Another 2-2 count. Brito on first. Ursery on second. About 2 hours and 29 minutes into this 1 o'clock matchup between a couple of high-powered offenses. Swing and a miss for Nick Martin. And he goes down for out number 1. Neville finally gets an out after issuing a couple of walks. And now here strides to the plate Landon McDonald, who was 0 for 3 before his last at-bat. And with the bases loaded in the 5th inning, delivered a 2-run double into left field. Another runner scored off of defensive interference. And that's why you see that 3 in the 5th frame. McDonald sends a high fly ball. Second baseman is going to be camped under. Infield fly rule was in effect. So McDonald is now 1 for 5. Brady Baird steps up to the plate.
And you know, McDonald doesn't normally swing at the first pitch.
No.
And so I'm sure what he did was he was watching that pitcher.
Yep.
And he decided to pick his pitch. It was the first one.
He's trying to ambush a kid that is trying to get right, just got a strikeout. So likely he's going to deliver a first pitch fastball if he just got right under it. Now Brady Baird sends first pitch foul off to the left, 0-1. Baird, 1 for 2 today, has a walk and a run scored, stolen a couple bases so far this year. So he's gone from 2 to 4 stolen bases, sends a high fly ball into left field. This one's trouble. It got behind the left fielder. And now Coach Martinez is going to send the runner, and this is going to be credited as a 2-run double for Brady Baird. You got to feel for number 12, Luis Camacho, who not only lost it in the sun, but also because if you can feel this wind, it's kind of twirling. Didn't quite know where it was going to go, so. Luke Camp's now coming to the plate.
And he still has his sunglasses on top of his visor.
Right.
I'm like,
so as much as you want to feel for the guy, you can't feel too bad for him. Got to put your sunglasses on, son. So now stepping to the plate, Luke Camps. The last time Camps stepped to the plate was in the 6th inning. He delivered a solo home run to the right center part of the field. Camps now with 3 home runs, 10 RBI on the season. Now Camps sends it into center field. Bernard giving chase. And that ball again gets loose into the wind, but Bernard was able to flag it down for the 3rd out. So the Renegades get a couple of runs on that double from Brady Baird, and they now lead it 9-5 as we head to the 8th inning. Welcome back to live coverage of Renegades baseball right here on YouTube, the Bakersfield Athletics page. Whether you're watching us live or if you're watching us in the future. So we get ball 1 from Tony Fabian to Jackson Bernard. Bernard was able to snag that last out of the 7th inning in center field despite a little blustery gusts of wind that we have out there. Fabian delivers strike 1. Evens the count at 1 apiece. Bernard 1 for 3 so far today. Bernard's also scored a couple of runs. Fouls the ball off. Now the count's 1-2. again, congratulations to Jennifer Salinas Cisneros, who was the Athlete of the Week for the Renegades. Her efforts last week accounted for 17.5 team points. That's a lot.
That's a tremendous individual effort. Congratulations. You're right.
Yep. So they were 4th place out of 10 competing programs in that last tournament. And then on men's tennis, we're going to talk about Zeb Duquette. Zeb Duquette was part of that miraculous men's tennis program, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. We're going to give their flowers to them. 1-2 count to Bernard. He sends it over to Blanco. Blanco's not able to flag that down. So second hit of the game for Bernard. Now 2 for 4. Here comes Caleb Romero. Romero hasn't done anything except for be 3 for 3. He got a double and a run scored so far today. Again, very dangerous hitter. Speedy, and he's got great hair.
He has great hair, yes.
Yeah. Fabian delivers. Swing and a miss for Caleb Romero. Yeah, Zeb Duquette, he's a freshman tennis player on the men's team, put together an outstanding week for Bakersfield men's tennis, going a perfect 5-0 in doubles play while adding a strong 4-1 record in singles. His consistent performance was instrumental in helping the Renegades capture the Hank Pfister Cup for the South region. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 to Caleb Romero. So they were hosting that in unseasonably warm conditions. So Duquette also played a key role in securing important conference victories earlier in the week against Santa Barbara and Glendale, and we're going to continue to talk about men's tennis as Fabian's 0-2 pitch was high to Romero, 1-2 count. But this past week, on Wednesday, we'll talk about what the men's tennis team did as Fabian gets a swing and a miss, finally gets Caleb Romero to be retired. And here comes big Lucas Hernandez. So 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. And Hernandez 0 for 4, has an RBI, also has a strikeout. Fabian checks over first, but for the first time in BC school history, Renegades men's tennis team won a Western State Conference match against the Ventura Pirates 5-4. Renegades ended the Ventura College 35-match winning streak and claimed the first ever Western State Conference title.
That is awesome.
Congratulations to the men's tennis team. They started strong, winning 2 of the 3 doubles matches. The deciding match came when Shang En Kao went to a 3rd set tiebreaker to win it for the Renegades. Oh, watch out. Tony Fabian hits Lucas Hernandez and puts him on. So Hernandez on base for the first time today. And now you've got Peyton Grau coming to the plate. Grau 1 for 3. Ball gets away from Spainhauer, so now it puts 2 runners in scoring position. Grau had an RBI base hit in his last plate appearance. And again, in this situation, you got Lucas Camacho 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts waiting on deck and a base open. But one of the things you don't want to do is send the tying run to the plate. So they're going to take their chances here with Grau. 1-0 count. Now it's 2-0 as ball sails outside. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. about that amazing run for men's tennis. Ball 3 to Grau. So, again, probably we're going to try to stay away from Grau anyway. But, again, congratulations to that men's tennis team. And not only is Noel Dalton just an amazing tennis coach for the Renegades here, but he is helped by a Hall of Fame tennis player in his own right, and Hank Pfister, who has his own tournament named after him here in Bakersfield. And so between these two guys, they have done an amazing job. Strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. Count is 3-1. So Renegades got singles wins from Lipchinski, Gonzaga, and Cow. And now you got ball 4 to Grau. So it loads the bases up for Camacho, who is 0 for 4. Been struggling so far today. And now we've got a mound visit. The doubles wins for the Renegades was Axel Gonzaga, along with Sheng and Kao, and then Matus Lipinski and Orlando Vankin. And again, just goes to credit these amazing coaches for bringing these guys from all around the globe here to BC and play right here on the hardwood. Excuse me, not the hardwood, the hard court.
You're right.
Now batting for the Wildcats.
Hardwood would be basketball. We're not talking about that.
Speaking of basketball, I'm sure everybody's watching March Madness.
Oh, yeah. People are punching their ticket to the Final Four today.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, you got, I believe it's Iowa going today. They're on a Cinderella run, hopefully. So here we go. Camacho steps to the plate. Takes ball 1, 1-0.
You know, I mentioned March Madness because we mentioned something about hair earlier on one of the players of West LA. Basketball, men's basketball. That must be the thing. All these guys
Great hair.
got hair. I've never seen so much hair in men's basketball.
Not even in the ABA days?
No. These guys got, that hair is all over the place. I'm like, how do you play?
2-0 count with 1 out. Fabian trying to get out of trouble. Delivers strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. Fabian could use a ground ball right over here to get out of the inning. 9-5 in the top of the 8th. Tying run at the plate. Swing and a miss for Camacho. Evens the count at 2 apiece. Again, Jacob Baruman pitched 6 1/3. He's in line for a win. Fabian looking to pick up a save in this situation. Strike 3 to Luis Camacho. As Camacho is 0 for 5, and he wears that golden sombrero for 3 strikeouts today.
Now batting catcher, Lucas Salcedo.
Now we got Lucas Salcedo coming to the plate. Again, representing the tying run. Fabian trying to do what he can to escape this inning unscathed, even though he's got the bases loaded. Fabian sets and delivers. Ball 1, up and away. And so a lot of sports happening right now. A lot of big softball being played around the country, including here at Bakersfield College. Baseball is underway. March Madness. And we're ever so closer to the NFL draft. Strike 1 on the inside corner. Evens the count at 1 apiece.
I don't know how. Again, all of these sports are running right together. We just finished with the Super Bowl. We just finished.
Right. But the NFL is king here in this United States.
Yeah.
Ball 2 inside. Brings count to 2-1 with 2 outs. Fabian really trying to dance out of this trouble. Salcido, 3 for 4 so far today. So dangerous hitter. He has an RBI, has a run scored. For a guy batting .284, you wouldn't think of coming into this game that he'd be the guy that could potentially be a difference maker here for West LA. Ball sent into left field. Camps is going to camp under it for out number 3, and Tony Fabian does a little magic trick right there, loads the bases but gets out of trouble. No runs scored in the 8th inning. We're going to head to the bottom of the 8th. Renegades up 9-5. Bottom of the 8th inning here at Jerry Collis Field. Renegades with a 9-5 lead, and leading off the 8th is shortstop Santiago Blanco. Blanco takes ball 1 inside, and Neville comes right back out there for West LA. Blanco 0 for 2 today, has an RBI on a walk in the first inning. Also has a couple of strikeouts. Neville evens the count 1-1. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Blanco sends it up the middle, and that's going to get past Everly for Blanco's first hit of the game. Now you got Jordan Mora striding to the plate. Mora 2 for 4 with an RBI.
Jordan Mora.
Mora, again, a dangerous hitter for Coach Townsend. And the Renegades are looking to get to 500 today. A win today would bring them to 14-14 overall and 5-4 in conference play. Everybody's chasing Glendale. So you got a runner on the pitch, but a foul ball at the plate. 0-1 count. Glendale ranked 6th in the South region overall. 15 overall in the state. So that's who everybody's chasing. Right behind them in conference standings is Antelope Valley, who's ranked number 19 in the South region. Now Mora sends his second hit of the game into right center field. Blanco's going to be able to wheel it on over to third base as the ball is cut off by the shortstop Everly. So Neville's given up 2 consecutive hits to start off the 8th inning. Yeah, but one of the things that you're going to see when you look at the standings, though, throughout the state of California. Santa Rosa College, 33-1 overall.
How do you do that in baseball?
Right. How you do that is great pitching, and that's what they've got. When I looked at their stats, they got some of the best pitching in the state, and their overall ERA is less than 4. As we got first pitch, hits, try Spain Howard. So Spain Howard is on base for the 4th time today. He has 2 hits, a walk, and now a hit by a pitch. He's also scored a run so far today. So now you got Gage Ursery, who steps up to the plate. He came in as a pinch runner for Liam O'Reilly, who was pinch hitting for Grant Reynolds. So Ursery stayed in at right field. He's going to get an opportunity with the bases loaded against Neville. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, 9-5 Renegades. Renegades sure could use some insurance runs right here before they head to the top of the 9th. Yeah, but again, Santa Rosa ranked number 1 overall in the state. Right behind him is Mount Sac, although Mount Sac is curiously ranked number 3 in the South region.
That is curious.
Yeah. Even though they won 4 games in a week. So.
But that 33-1 in baseball, I can safely say it's unheard of.
Oh, Gage Ursery sends a lazy fly ball, and that's going to be dropped. But they get the out at second base. And right there, that was one of those situations where I think maybe the second baseman, if he didn't get that lost in the sun, he might have actually tried to drop that on purpose to see if they can turn 2 in that situation. Nonetheless, it goes down as a fielder's choice RBI for Gage Ursery, bringing the score 10-5, and Jordan Brito steps up to the plate with a runner on first and third.
I didn't think they would leave that pitcher out there too much longer.
Well, we'll see. Looks like it's the pitching coach that's coming out. Usually it's the head coach that comes with the hook.
Right.
And the pitcher down in the bullpen doesn't seem like
he's coming out.
Well, he hasn't even stepped up onto the mound yet. He's still on the grass getting some warm-up tosses over there. So again, got a lot of tournaments happening, a lot of high school baseball being played all over the place. There's always a big tournament up in Fresno and during spring break. There's also tournaments down in San Diego, Las Vegas. But usually in the Central Coast, the tournaments are all the week after Easter because they do their spring break after Easter. Most of California actually does their spring break after Easter.
Well, you think about it, just think about it in terms of the country. Everybody can't be on spring break at the same time.
Right.
You just can't.
Right. And we hope everybody out there who plans on traveling during this spring break leave with plenty of time. I'm hearing all those lines at the airports are pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Runner on first and third. Brito takes ball 1 outside. So 1 out on that fielder's choice.
And it's like you said earlier in the broadcast, we try not to talk about that stuff, but it's all connected.
Right.
Because these teams have to travel. Well, they're getting caught in these airport lines.
So runner goes, hit and run, and Jordan Brito is going to knock in another run for the Renegades, making it 11-5. Ursery is able to advance over to second base.
With 2 out now, batting second baseman Nick Martin.
So Brito picks up his first RBI of the game, and now Nick Martin comes to the plate with Ursery in scoring position. Fantastic piece of hitting right there from Jordan Brito. That ball was probably about a foot outside, but because they had the hit and run going, he had to swing at anything. Now Nick Martin shows bump, pulls back on ball 1. Again, that much-needed insurance as they're going to head into the 9th inning with at least a 6-run lead. Neville sends it to Martin. Martin sends it to Bernard. Bernard camped under it for out number 3. And we're going to head to the 9th inning as the Renegades tack on 2 more runs on 2 hits and open up a 6-run lead. Now I've got a new pitcher coming in for the Renegades, and that is going to be number 35, Wyatt Ash out of Bakersfield High. So we're going to come back and see if Wyatt Ash can close the door on West LA and pick up the 14th win of the season for the Renegades. We'll take a quick timeout and be right back. Bottom of the 9th inning here at Jerry Collins Field. Renegades with an 11-5 lead. And Jarrell Hightower sends it over to Nick Martin. He's not going to be able to get it. Goes into right field. Gage Ursary is able to come up with it. And Jarrell has himself his 3rd hit of the game.
Now batting second baseman,
Jarrell Hightower. All 3 of those hits singles. Could have had a double. Didn't want to leg out one. That was sent to Grant Reynolds earlier in the 2nd inning of the game today. Now you got Josiah Figueroa, 0 for 3 today, got an RBI. Swung on and missed. Wyatt Ash, the pitcher for the Renegades, freshman out of BHS. Oh, and they got a foul ball. Whoa, wait a minute.
It hit the bat.
It did hit the bat,
hit
but
the bat, yes.
I'm really surprised that the home plate umpire Jose Hernandez actually put his hands up foul, because that ball had a chance to, if it hit the line there, it rolls fair. That's a fair ball. But I tell you, we've got 2 of the weirdest foul balls you've seen so far today. One off the knob of the bat.
Right.
And one off of the back of the bat when he's trying to duck out of the way. So very fortunate for Wyatt to be in a situation where he's got a 1-2 count.
Yeah, really.
Could be 2-1. Or it actually could have just hit him. You got 2 runners on with nobody out. So Wyatt with a 1-2 count. Hightower leading off for first. Real high pitch. And I'll tell you, Wyatt's been a little wild here.
Yeah. You can see he's throwing the ball hard, but yeah, because he's trying to close this out.
Yep. Former pitcher for Coach Mario Garza over at BHS. Mario, a former Renegade, as he gets strike 3 from Josiah Figueroa, who's had a forgettable day. And now Gustav Everly stepping to the plate. I tell you, when Everly's adjustable cap came off his hat, or his head earlier, he also exposed a nice head of hair too.
Yeah, this hair thing is in college.
So now the ball grounded over. to Martin. Over to Blanco. Back over to Baird. 4-6-3 double play to end the ball game. The Renegades improved to 14-14 overall, 5-4 in conference. West LA drops their 22nd game of the season. They fall to 3-6 overall. We wish West LA all the luck in the world over the last few months of the season. We're going to come right back and wrap this up after this quick break. Renegades win 11-5 here on YouTube. All right, we're back to wrap this up here at Jerry College Field, where the Renegades get an 11-5 win over West LA. They take the series 2-1. Renegades got 14 hits, committed 1 error. West LA, 12 hits and 3 errors. The win goes to Jacob Baruman. And the Renegades improved to 14-14. The next time they're going to be here at Jerry College Field will be this Thursday against Canyons at 2 o'clock. So hopefully for all of you guys who are on spring break, get a chance to come out here on Thursday. They've got Canyons in Santa Clarita on Tuesday and Friday this coming week before they get the Easter weekend off. It's been a pleasure to be back up here on Peyton's, what would we say, Coach Peyton's perch, instead of it being like the Dameron deck, Peyton's perch up here right above College Field.
That'll work today.
So
yes.
For Julian Wilson and Gio Generales, Rob Chavez, we're going to be back on the air here in about 58 minutes for the softball game against Grossmont. But if we don't see you over there, we wish you a very blessed week coming up. Take care. Good night.